Hey, Mrs. K, get off Mr. K and listen to Max Inc. Radio.
Get out of here or I'll kick your ass.
Radio for the people.
Yeah, meet me in the bottom. Bring my running shoes. Yeah, meet me in the bottom. Bring my running shoes. She got a bad old man. I ain't got time to lose. Don't you tell nobody. See me creeping by. She got a bad old man. She got a mean old man. I don't wanna die.
Listening to Max Inc. Radio, and I'm Terry Barr, and I want to welcome now, I have been looking forward to doing this interview for so long. Welcome with me to Max Inc. Radio, Carl Buffalo Nichols. Carl Buffalo Nichols, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Well, we were just really enjoying, this is a fairly new song of yours as well. Meet Me in the Bottom. Now, I love your guitar and the voice. It's actually pretty mesmerizing to listen to you. What can you tell me about this song?
This is a song. It's kind of a traditional blues song in a lot of ways. It goes by different names. I heard Juke Boy Bonner from Texas do a version, and I kind of based my version off of his. And yeah, I was working on the album and I recorded this song, and it didn't end up going on the album, but I thought it would give people a different view of me as an artist, particularly as a guitar player. So I wanted to get that out there and kind of shake the image of a acoustic musician strictly.
Oh, I'm so glad that it's out there and that we get to enjoy this. Thank you. You know, you grew up in Milwaukee. I know you were born in Texas, but you grew up in Milwaukee. Have you found the city in any way influencing your music or your sound?
Yeah, definitely. Milwaukee has a lot of musicians who just play music because they love it. And I ended up being one of those musicians. With it being maybe a smaller market or off the radar of the industry, there's not any particular scene that people feel like they have to attach themselves to. So I just played whatever I wanted to. And one of those things that I wanted to play was blues music. And I have a lot of other influences, but being from Milwaukee just made me play the music I wanted to and not the music that was in fashion or anything.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Playing what you want rather than what maybe somebody else is telling you need to play. I love that. Did you also have any influence from church? I mean, you hear this a lot with musicians, that some of it kind of retains as you get older, that some of that background stays with you.
No, not really. No. There's a lot of biographical information about me that was exaggerated by certain people, but I didn't grow up in church. I played in churches as a hired musician. And, like I said, I've always listened to a lot of different types of music, and gospel music is one of those things. And it did affect the way that I played, definitely. But it wasn't not any more than any other thing that I come across in my life.
Okay. So we set the record straight right here. I like
that.
That's
right.
I hear the blues and I think of all the stories behind these songs. Just incredible. What do you really hope people who come to your shows and listen to you or just listen to your recordings, what do you hope they hear?
That question is usually tough for me because the main thing that I want is for people to just take things, I guess, as they are or as they feel. I'm not trying to make any particular point. I really want people to just use their own context and experience to try to figure out what I'm saying. And if it relates to them, then they can take that. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to beat them over the head with it. They can just move on to somebody else.
Yeah. So your music is for everybody and you want them to just hear maybe their own story coming out of it?
Well, no, the opposite. It's actually for nobody.
Oh.
Wow. And I don't have that in my head when I'm making music. Like, what are people going to think or what do I want them to take away from this? I'm going to express myself and the rest is up to them. And that's not really my business.
I love that though. Again, and having been lucky enough to see you at the Sugar Maple Music Festival in the Madison area a couple of years ago, I absolutely understand what you're telling me. I just remember you as one person with your guitar getting up on stage and the crowd, once you started, zip. You could have heard a pin drop because everybody was just so enthralled with the way you sing and your guitar. Does that make you feel anything when you're up on stage? I mean, what are you thinking about? What are you feeling?
Yeah, it really is something that I spend a lot of time thinking about and worrying about. I spend a lot of time thinking about that. Sorry. Because it is kind of nerve-wracking to get up in front of a lot of people as a solo artist. So one of the things that I've worked on, I've been making music for a long time. But this is the first time I've really gotten notoriety as a solo artist. And I haven't really spent as much time being a solo artist as I have playing in bands or playing guitar, because I knew that if I was going to go out on my own, I would have to, everything that I did had to be able to, speak for itself. So I had to make sure that my guitar playing was good enough that on its own could, get people's attention. And then I had to work on my voice to the point where, people would want to listen to just me singing for, 30 minutes or an hour. Yeah. So I do put great effort into, trying to get the audience on my side without pandering. So whenever that happens, I don't take it for granted.
I can vouch for it. I saw it happen. It was glorious to watch. You see an audience all fidgety and what's going on? Okay. And then boom, just silence enjoying your music. And I want to let people here know that they have a chance to enjoy your music. You've got quite a tour going right now, and you've got two shows coming up in Wisconsin. We have February 17th at the gorgeous Stoughton Opera House in Stoughton. February 18th, then you're headed up north to Nicolet College in Rhinelander. Is there anything you want people to think about or know as they're coming to the show, or should they just come and just relax and enjoy an incredible night of music?
Oops, sorry. There is something that is important as far as what I would like people to expect, and that's to get the idea out of your head that the blues is some kind of like background music. You know, and it's especially for blues artists, you find yourself playing a lot of restaurants and like, you know, these places where the music is an afterthought. And I'm not that type of artist. I'm making songs with an intent. You know, I write songs for people to hear, not for people to ignore. So, and there's moments where I'm always encouraging people to react how they want to, but I wouldn't come thinking that you're going to eat barbecue and, you know, and just carry on conversations while I'm playing. It's because there's a lot going on. I try to craft my set from beginning to end. So I hope people will pay attention for the whole thing.
Well, I think the good thing with both of these venues, they are more of a listening room. And I know more of those types of venues are popping up where on the table, you'll find a note saying, listen to the music. If you aren't here to listen to the music, then go away.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that, because that's why I go to a show. I want to hear the music. Is there anything, you know, just to lighten it up here for a second, is there anything kind of funny from all of your travels? Anything that sticks out? No, some things that I find funny that probably aren't very light. No, I mean, it's hard. Touring is hard, and people like to, you know, at the end of the day, you got to laugh at it and make jokes about it. But it's a hard way to make a living. And I could share some stories, but they're only funny to me. So I'm going to keep them to myself. Okay, got it. And at least they're funny to you, so that makes you laugh, and that's a good thing instead of, you know, whatever else the reaction could be. Yeah, you know, how do we now, what is the best way to follow you? How do we keep up with you and your music?
I try my best to stay active on all the social media platforms. I do Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and I got my website. I don't have a mailing list just because it's, I forgot to have a mailing list.
That's a lot of
social
work.
Media. Yeah. Social media is good. And I always keep tour dates up on my website if you're slightly more old school. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Again, we want to mention February 17th at the Stoughton Opera House in Stoughton. February 18th, then Nicolet College in Rhinelander. Anything else that you would like to care and share that maybe I missed in our discussion?
I just want to, you know, remind people that I came up as a musician in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin. I've been to all these places. I used to beg the people at Stoughton Opera House to let me open for other artists, and you know, I'm a true Wisconsinite, so it's good to be back.
Oh, we're so happy you're here as well. And if people are out and about this summer, they can catch up with you at a bunch of different festivals. And again, you can find that on his website. Thank you so much, Carl Buffalo Nichols. This has been an absolute pleasure for me. My goodness. This is Max Inc. Radio, and we are local music.
sunshine crept into my bed today, but I wasn't in the mood, so I kindly turned away and waited till he grew too tired to glow. 'Cause he shows me things that I don't wanna know. I do appreciate the ones who try to reach out to the lonely, the nervous and the shy, those who try their very best to break the walls, but never wonder why I built them up at all. So I'll tell you how I feel if you got an ear to lend. Oh, love that never starves is a love that never ends. I wish my dreams were real and my worries were pretend. I wish we could be friends. I wrote down every evil thing I did, and it's longer than the list of the reasons I should live. And a voice from somewhere says you're good enough, and suddenly the mean old world don't seem so rough. I see the crooked way you try to smile, and the broken way you laugh that reveals your inner child. Did you gather all your dreams to be buried in your past? Did the world love you enough to make them last? So tell me how you feel. I've got an ear to lend, for a love that never starts is a pain that never ends. I wish my dreams were real and my worries were pretend. I wish we could be friends. Is worth more than gold today. I guess that's the reason why we keep it locked away, where no one dares to look or tries to find, till you lose the light that once shone in your eyes, and you see that all the love was only lies, and you punish anyone who even tries, and the person who once loved begins to die. If I tell you how I feel, will you promise to pretend to understand my view? Will you tell me pain will end and many other lies? 'Cause lies can do no harm. Show me where to find relief. Let it lead me to your arms. Tell me dreams are real and worries just pretend. Tell me I'm your friend. Tell me I'm your friend.
Maxink Radio, we are local music. Buffalo Nichols from Meet Me in the Bottom. It's brand new music there. Terry, awesome interview with Buffalo Nichols.
Oh, thanks. It was such a pleasure to talk with him. And the song we just heard was Friends. He is he's so bluesy, but as you heard, all his songs are just so thoughtful and based on growing up in Milwaukee, which is just so interesting to me. He's got a couple of Wisconsin shows coming up this next Thursday, or no, I should say Friday. He is at the Stoughton Opera House in Stoughton. Can you imagine hearing these songs at the Stoughton Opera House?
I've heard.
Wow,
I've never
nice.
seen. I've never been there. I've got to check them. I've heard the stage is beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes. And then he is playing at the college in Rhinelander on Saturday night. Then he's off and running. He's all over the country from there. I do know. He revealed and he said, whoops, should I say anything? I go, I'll tell people. He'll be back in the Madison area this summer.
Oh.
Yes.
And we will be there.
Well, we'll be there with bells on for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, speaking of bells, Michael Massey is live in the Devil's Lair.
Yes.
Coming up next, right after Brian Cherry on Max Inc. Radio.